If you want to see how I got this look using my favourite makeup of 2020, then stay tuned. Okay, so my fave products of 2020. So what I have done so far is, because I've said it before in my, my first 3 videos, we are getting there, we're moving along, is that I like to shape my eyebrows before I do my makeup. And the reason I do that is because when I do my eyeshadow, I need a border, essentially. So I'll do that. And then when I'm finished, what I'll do then is I'll finish my brows. And by finish, I mean make them look more natural and then set them against the grain of a full face of makeup, as opposed to trying to do everything beforehand and you kind of end up with sometimes blocky brows. But anyway, yeah, so what I have used and what's been a favourite for about 1.5 years now, so maybe it's been a favourite since 2019, but I've not found anything in 2020 that I think replaces it, and that is Benefit Precisely My Brow. I love this little pencil. It's thin enough for me. It just works. I've used shade 5 today because I didn't look at what I was putting on my brows, but normally I'd use shade 4. And then what I like to do, so that's what I use to kind of carve out my shape and then to fill it in. And then what I would use after that is the Gimme brow, because it kind of lays down, it gives you kind of brows, it lays down brows. So if you've got brow hairs and you put this on, it kind of clings to it, so it gives you brow. So I like to use that again in shade 4 as well. And then when I'm done with that, what I have been carving out my brows with is Plouise Base, and that's in shade 6. Now I think the extended shade range came out in 2020, so I think I've got all the colours, to be honest with you. But I love this because it's not so bright that you get that highlighted under eye look, which I think is a bit weird kind of thing. But by the time I finish my makeup, it's just a really nice juxtaposition, and also it doubles up as a base. So in terms of eyeshadow, I think it grabs the eyeshadow for me personally, and everyone's got a different opinion, but for me it works really well. But what I forgot to mention was underneath that, I always set primer, that's another thing. I put the Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer underneath that, then I will set that with a powder, then I'll go in and shape. But normally what I do is I'd put a primer all over my whole face and set it that way. Then I'd go in, carve my brows and put this all over my lid so you have a base. And what I've noticed is, even before I put my eyeshadow in, sometimes you'd notice that your base is creased. That never happens with this combo. It seems to work, which I quite like. So I'm not changing in it if it ain't broke. Right, okay, cool. Another thing that I found this year, which I absolutely love, is the e.l.f. blurring primer. So that's can you see? Yeah, there we go. The e.l.f. blurring primer. It's a really nice primer. I do have the Fasali Skin Tune Blur, and this rivals it, and this is £8. Skin Tune Blur is 50 quid, £52 in the UK. So this rivals it and I love it. So I'm just going to go in with that first. The only thing about this that I don't like is the dropper's a bit crap. So I'm going to just put a bit there. Yeah, the dropper's not great and it's unnecessarily long. The bottle's too big. For the products, the bottle is too big. You don't get enough product to warrant the size of the bottle, essentially. So I'm just going to put that in. Now I'm still getting used to all of this setup and I keep forgetting that I've got a mic on and rubbing my hands around the mic. So if you ever get that rustling noise, I'm trying. Okay, now what else have I used alongside the e.l.f. and this is going to seem real e.l.f. and the thing is, I am quite a bougie person. I like high-end, good quality makeup, but good is good. Price point, whatever, good is good. And e.l.f. also has the poreless putty primer and the matte primer. Now I have tried the Tatcha Silk Canvas, and yeah, I think this is a dead-on dupe. The poreless one is a dead-on dupe for it. In fact, in some ways I prefer the e.l.f. one, mainly because, you know, the price point is hugely different. I think the e.l.f. poreless putty is like £8 in the UK, whereas Tatcha, to get it here firstly is a problem, and secondly it's like £60-70, and that's not including all the taxes and whatnot. So what I do is I take the poreless primer one and I put it in all the areas that I want to kind of just blur. So you kind of see I'm kind of doubling up because obviously I've put serum primer there as well. But everywhere, you know, you can never do too much. So that's that. Then I just go around my fine lines. I ain't got no goddamn wrinkles on my fine lines. And then what I like to do is I take the matte version and I just put that in all the areas where I get oily. So I'm not sure if I've said, but I have normal combination skin. So I am normal. I don't have dry or oily skin, but I do get greasy when people typically do, which is around your nose, occasionally on my forehead, but mostly it's just in the creases of my nose. Makeup will get shiny. But I think that's everybody, isn't it? Irrespective of whether you've got dry skin or not, I think everybody kind of gets that around there. Okay. And I like to go on your top lip as well. My top lip, I get sweaty. That's one thing I can honestly say, I get sweaty. Okay, so that's my base. Then what I like to do, and this isn't new, it's new to me because I wasn't doing this last year, so it's newish to me. So I like to go in afterwards with the Laura Mercier Medium Deep Powder. Just like that. And then I will set my foundation. So I just, but I'm not sure, I mean, I wouldn't say this is a 2020 find, but I mean, if we're gonna say, oh, in 2020 what are my favorite products, yeah, then yeah, this is definitely one of them. So I just go in and I just set my primer. Yeah. So now that my base is done, then I would typically go on with my foundation at this stage. And this year, my favourite foundation is a bit of a bougie, expensive one. So I really have liked the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation. It's wonderful. It's got factor 50 in it. If you're not really into SPF in your foundations, you might not like it. But it's got factor 50 in it. I think it's more like medium. I would say it's definitely a medium coverage, and that's it there. I got mine from Selfridges, and I think it's roughly about £112 in the United Kingdom and £150 in the US, but it's seamless. It gives you this inner glow, it lasts, and then for me personally, I'm at an age where I want products that have got healthcare and beauty benefits in them when I use them. I don't want to just slap things on my face anymore. And I'm 35, by the way. I don't want to slap things on my face anymore just because they look good. I want it to, you're going to be in my face for hours. You need to be helping me out in some way, shape or form. You need to be doing something. You can't just be on my face giving me spots. So obviously that's what this gives you. And it just gives you a flawless base. It's gorgeous. But then a second find that I've actually surprised that I like, because I like quite dewy makeup, is the NARS Sheer Matte, Soft Matte, sorry. This is gorgeous. I mix Macao and Marquises to get my shade. But in all the other foundations from NARS, I do actually wear just Macao. But this is a good little find as well. And I'm not going to use it today, but another thing that I found this year that I like to use probably with all my foundations except Tom Ford and except for Estee Lauder Hydra Futurist is the new NARS. So, I'm not sure if you see it. So Tinted Glow Booster. And the reason I like it is because it just gives matte or dewy. It gives everything a really nice kind of glow from within. So as you can see, I'm almost done with that. That's how much I like it. I use it that much. This is gorgeous. And this is in shade Barbuda. So this is the darkest one that they do. It's really nice. I think it's tantamount to the, I know Charlotte Tilbury's got a version that I want to try. But yeah, this is gorgeous. So hopefully I'll be able to try the Charlotte Tilbury one in 2021. So what I like to do is, so I use this as well to do my lines, but what I like to do is take a bit of this and I like to pump. One pump's more than enough for me, I'll just do it more. But I like my foundation to be quite sheer, so I'm going to take a pump there and I'm going to put that all over my face. And how I like to put things on my face is to start by putting dabbles. So I just dab, because that way I can make sure my whole face is catered for, but I haven't gone ham. And then I just buff that in. Okay. So that is the Tom Ford, which I quite like. Look at that. I think it's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful. So I was going with a sponge afterwards to make sure it's blent to the gourds and to take away any extra product. But if you look at it, it's giving my skin this kind of dewy, healthy glow, which I quite like. Yeah. So as you can see, that's why I like it. Now, next, I would always go for concealer. So I'm going to do this all in the order that I actually do my makeup. So next I would go for concealer. And for me in 2020, there is nothing that can come close to Auntie Pat. Okay. Pat McGrath's new, what was it, Skin Fetish Sublime. Now I like this so much that I've got it in shade 26, shade 24, shade 22, shade 23, because I use it for like everything. So yeah, this is nice. I've actually gone through one bottle of the 26 already, and I think I'm about to go through the second one. But yeah, and it's £25, and I think you only get like 5 milligrams of products, but it's so good, and you don't even need that much. So yeah, this is my favorite. I don't even have a secondary. Like with most things, I'm like, oh, I like this, but I also like this. With everything else, this is the one thing that I don't have a second choice, because it is that good. So what I like to do is I like to take just a little under the eyes like that, like so, and I do the same on the other side. It's quite full coverage and creamy, and it gives you time to play with it. And then what I like to do is, if I want to highlight, then I would take, actually I do like to, so I like to start my halo like this. There we go. And then, and the reason why I do it like that is because that way when I'm blending it out, there's something that's close enough to my skin tone to kind of even it out for me. And I do the same thing under my chin. And then I like to go with shade 22 to highlight. So then I just do a little bit there. Really don't need much of this. There. You really don't need much. I'm gonna get a bit closer and do my chin. Now, as I said before, I like to let my foundation sit so that I can get the fullest coverage out of it. But then also it doesn't crease. I've noticed that it doesn't crease if you just let it sit for a second or two. And then I'm just gonna go down my nose. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to blend it to the gods anyway. But yeah. And while that is sitting, we are going to do my eyeshadow. And as you can guess, it's obviously Pat McGrath yet again. It's Divine Rose 2. That's probably my favourite palette for this year. I do have a second one, and it will be the Celestial Divinity. But for today, I'm just gonna go with what's my favourite, which is actually the Divine Rose. Now, in my ranking video, I did actually use exclusive version. That's the version I use. But because I don't actually use that version, it's just there to look pretty, I am actually gonna get the one that I do use daily. It's a bit of a mess actually. So this is what the outside looks like. I think everyone knows what the outside of these look like, so that's it there. But the inside of her, do you know what? I nearly had a heart attack because they all look the same. I thought, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to open it and it's not going to be the right one, but it is. There she is. There she is. Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for my eyeshadow to dry, I'm going to pop on a really quick look using this one. What I might do is do one eye off camera and then come back and do the second eye on camera. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I got a little bit carried away. I was enjoying that palette, but too much, and I did both eyes. But it doesn't matter. But this is the look that I've come up with. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna blend out my concealer. So what I like to do then is take it out like this, and I like to kind of come in close, use it to clean up my eyeshadow. So if you look here, it's a bit messy, and then if you get here, it's starting to clean up. So I'm gonna do the same thing again. Take it right underneath your eyes, and then just use it to clean it up. And there you go. And then I will take a sponge after that to get an exact line. And that's that side. Blend it out. So, do you know what? I'm going to do this side off camera, but what I wanted to show you is also this year for contour, I quite like the Bronzer by Huda Beauty, but then I would say mid this year, now I know it's not new, but the UOMA Beauty Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Stick. Now this to me is gorgeous, and it's black owned and it's woman owned. Oh, and she's British as well actually, yes. And I've got this in Bronze Venus. Now I love this. Yeah, I'll be the right end. Now I love this. What I like to do is I like to go halfway down my nose like this, And the same thing on the other side. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to give myself a European nose. Oh, hell no. But what I do find is when you put foundation all over your face, you give yourself a blank canvas. And in some ways, you cancel out your nose. So you kind of got to put it back in, which is why I like to do that. And then I take it up here into my hairline. Down that. And down there. And then the same again there. And when I'm blending it out, I'll take what's left on my brush and I'll sculpt my chin. I don't like to put, I say I don't like to put product and I'm about to put product there. I don't like to put product there only because you need to be really, really light-handed with that. I'm just contradicting myself, but it doesn't matter, y'all get what I mean. So I'm just gonna blend that all out, and just to make you aware, I use the foundation brush that I used to put my foundation on, obviously, because it's got foundation on it as well. And then I will blend that out, blend out what's left of my face, and then we'll get on to highlight and highlight and all the other good stuff, and blush. Alright, back in a sec. Okay, and I'm back. So I blended that all out, as you can see. Okay, so my favorite setting powder for 2020 was actually, there's two. So one of them I've been using for most of the year, and then the other one I kind of picked up towards the back end of the year. So the first one was the by Terry powder. This is amazing, and the thing about me is I've got really dry under eye. And by I mean it's not dry until you put powder on it, then it becomes like the Sahara Desert, so I can't bake. And because this has got like hyaluronic acid in it, it's a really good powder for me. So this is the by Terry Hyaluronic Tinted Hydra Powder, and I use shade 300 to set my under eye. So that's the first one that I've used, and I use it for most of the year. But then halfway through the year, Laura Mercier released the Laura Mercier powder Translucent Honey color. Ooh, like this should have been out years ago. They were slow on this one. This is gorgeous for the under eye, really nice, non-drying, give you this filtered effect. It's gorgeous. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using today to set my under eye. Now there is one more powder that it's an under eye setting powder, but I don't use it that way because it gives such a flawless finish. I prefer to use it as a finishing powder, but I'll show you that towards the end. So what I like to do is take a little bit, tap it off, and then I will just do that underneath the eyes and pat it under. There we go. And same again, because I can't put too much under there. And then I'll tap it off. Now I'm going to use that all over, all the bits that I've put the concealer on. And then also I like to use it to clean up my eyeshadow even further. There you go. And then just blend that out by tapping that into the skin. Look at that. Instant filtered effect. It's just, ooh. So this is the shiny side. Try saying that 3 times. And this is the side with the powder on it. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit just to the top of my cheek so you can actually really see it. There we are. And it just doesn't turn my eye into the under eye into the Sahara Desert. It gives this flawless kind of filtered look instantaneously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my forehead, the other side, top of my mouth, my nose and my chin, and I'll be right back with the next step. And the next product actually. Okay, so I've just finished setting all the areas that I put my concealer on onto the next product. So for me, a setting powder that I absolutely loved this year was the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude. I don't think is it? No, it is a setting powder, in fairness. Yeah, it's a finish. I do think it's got a lot of pigment, but I like it. I love it to set my face with, or the perimeter of my face. So what I tend to do is just get a nice big brush. And then I literally just set all the areas that I didn't put highlighter on. And the good thing about using a big brush like this, it's quite wide, so you get quite a quick surface area. Well, you cover quite a large surface area quickly, I should say. Then I do my forehead, my forehead, because I've got a big forehead. There we go. And that's it, that's all I really need. So I have that in shades 11.5 and 14. I'm using 11.5 at the moment, but when it gets a bit, well, if we're all out this summer, which I'm praying we are, you know, then I will be using shade 14 as I get a bit darker. But it's nice. I just think it gives a really nice finish to the skin. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it just gives a lovely flawless, I say flawless a lot, but it just gives a lovely finish to the skin. Cool. And then what I use, another powder I discovered this year that I really like for setting my face after, so I use it as finishing powder more than anything, is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and I've got it in shade 3 and 4. Those two shades are so close to each other that I use them interchangeably. It just depends on what I'm trying to do with my face, to be honest with you. So I'm going to use that very shortly, but before I do that, there was one other thing that I found from Benefit this year, and it is called the Brow Styler, and it looks like that. And what I like to do, as I said before, I like to finish my eyebrows after I put my makeup on. So when I've got it on like this and I can see what my makeup looks like, then I will go in with the brow styler. And what I like to do, I'm gonna get a bit close there, is I start in the middle because that's where most of the pigment's gonna drop off when you first do it. Oh, let me explain. So in this end of it, it's got like a powder pigment, and then this end is, it's a bit like the, oh, where's, there you go. Can you see that? There we are. Yeah, so then I like to go in with that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to get the powder end, and as I said, I'm going to start in the middle right here, and I'm going to put, just go up and down, more that, just go up I should say, because that's what's going to deposit the most pigment, and I just follow what I've already done, and it kind of, do you know, I'm going to finish it and then I'll show you the comparison to the other one, but it just gives it less of a shine and more of a kind of powdery finish. Then what I like to do is when I've practically used all the product that's on here, then I go towards the front and I do the same thing, and it just gives you a nice natural finish to your brows. See? And then if I show you the other one, so this is the one I haven't done yet. Well, I say I haven't done, I've only done the first bits to it, and this is the one that I finished. You can see the difference, eh? And if I have any hairs out of place, then I take this side and I just kind of line it. But I rarely need to use this side. Again, this is shade 5. So that's what I like to do to finish my eyebrows. Okay, now another product that I quite like this year is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, which I use to set my brows once I've got them happily in place. So then I will just go along the lines. The only place I really need to make sure that my eyebrows don't fall down is like along the arch, because there's always something trying to expose me along there. So I'll quickly do the other side. There we go. There we go. Okay, my next product I'm going to use is going to be blush and highlight. So this one came a bit out of left field for me. It is the Tammy X Revolution Paradise Glow. Is this the right colour? Yes, it is. So this is the lighter out of the two. There's only 2 packs. One's like a deep dark and then the other one's dark. So if I'm going to show you, it's got a mirror, but if I'm going to show you, I don't really like to use the contour because I find it a bit, that's the contour though, it's a little bit ashy, but the bronzer is nice, the highlighter I love, and this particular blush is gorgeous, so I quite like to use these two in conjunction. You do need to be really light-handed. This is pigmento, this is pigmented, and there's been quite a few times that I have had orange cheeks. I mean, I can fix it. I mean, we pros out here, but yeah, hella pigmented. So what I like to do is so I'll take a little bit of the highlighter, and it's like a pinky, champagne-y, goldy. Now listen, for Revolution and Tammy to come through for the dark skinned girls, the chocolate girls, and beat out, because I've got this year, I bought the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter, I bought the Pat McGrath one. Come on, this is like a paperweight. This is bougie. For it to beat out all of those for something that costs £8, it's doing bits. So what I like to do is just go along my cheeks and just press that in like that. As I said before, I love highlighter that you can see, but it doesn't give you any texture or anything like that. So I do like powder, like that. on the other side as well. And it's nice. You know what I like about it is, I'm going to show you an example of why I like it. Some highlighters, you get them and you put them on and then you go to brush them out and they don't move. This one, you don't have that problem. Look, it's moving. It doesn't just stay in that one place, it moves. And if I want to go to that direction, it moves. So it doesn't just stay as a strobe on your cheek. Ooh, that looks nice, though. But it doesn't just stay as a strobe on your cheek, so. Here we go. And I will use that down my nose. I like to use my fingers to use it down my nose though. So tap it in place first. Then I take a finger that I didn't use to put it on to blend it in. So that I'm not adding any more product. Same thing again. Just tap it on there. Then the finger that I didn't use again to blend it in. So that way it's not so. And if I want it to be not so concise, then I take a sponge and I tap the sides of it so that it's got like a natural gradient into the nose. There you go. Fire. I am one of those people that likes to highlight their Cupid's bow, so there you go. There you go. And what I will do towards the end of my makeup is I will, and it looks like I'm going ham with this, but it's because when I use the finishing powder, it's going to dull. The effect of the finishing powder is going to dull everything. So I like to put on a little bit more than I normally would, and so that you can still see it. It's a nice colour, right? Like, it's not too gold, it's a nice colour, it's really, really nice. And then, as I said, I'm going to use this blush as well, actually, I will. But you're going to see what I mean by you need so little. So if I take, that, so that's 2 gentle taps. And look at the amount of pigment it's picked up. Okay, so I can't use that. I'm going to just dust some of it on my wrist because I can't use it. And then I will begin patting it in my cheek area. And I always do this. I'm like, oh, I can't see it. Oh, I can't. Oh, shit, there it is. But there it is. It's starting to show up now. But it's nice. I mean, for £8, it's a nice product. A really nice product. Maybe like in the dead of winter, I'll be able to use the contour, but it's just a little bit grey. That's the only reason I don't use it. It's a tiny bit grey. And the other one's a bit too red, so do you know what? Let me show you the other one. The other one's a bit too red. There you go. So, and it's a bit too dark, so I can't use that. So yeah, I'm just gonna plonk that on my cheeks. And then we will move on to bronzer. Bronzer. Okay, so I have 3 in front of me, and I know it's cheating, but I love them all. And furthermore, I never use just one bronzer when I do use a bronzer. I tend to use at least 2. So the first one that I found this year that I absolutely loved is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. It is gorgeous. Look at that. She came through for us this year. I mean, she did. I mean, this is a fantastic start. I love this bronzer. Look at the size of it compared to my head. It's a nice size, really, really nice size. So I love this. And the reason I love this is because it's more or less the same formula as the Airbrush Flawless finishing powder, which is, if you know, you know, it's flawless, okay? It's flawless, all right? Another one that I absolutely love this year is the Gucci. I mean, firstly, packaging. And then secondly, look. She came through for the girls. This is gorgeous. This is really nice. Now, this is a shade too dark for me. I bought shade 5. I need to go back and get shade 4. Shade 5 is great. It's beautiful, but I just feel like I've got to consciously make an effort not to go ham. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and get shade 4 just so I can. It's more every day. This will be awesome for when I have a tan. It will be awesome for when I really want that sun-kissed kind of look, but. So I prefer to get the 4 for now. And then lastly, and I waited for this because we didn't get it in the UK. Oh, you can see I'm upset because we didn't get it in the UK here. And I'm looking down the lens. NARS. For the longest time, for some reason, the US had it. Europe even got it before us, but the UK, y'all treated us badly. Okay, let's calm the heck down. So it is the new NARS matte bronzer in the shade Quirimba. I waited and I waited and I signed up to this. I almost bought it from the States just to get it. And you know what? She was bloody worth it. Look at her. Can you all see? She was built for me. Should I swatch these? No, because I've got a video coming out on bronzers and I'm gonna swatch them all then. But yeah, she was worth it. I also bought the other one, which has got like a bit of a sheeny in it. That one is called Punta Cana. I just love saying it. Punta Cana. So yeah, for today though, as I said, I use more than one bronzer. So I'm gonna go in with this one first. This one first, so you can see it. Just gonna tap that on. I'm gonna go this one first. And then I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury one as well. Look. Yum. Okay, so I just finished up underneath my eyes now using the Pat McGrath palette again. So that's Divine Rose 2, just to be sure. An eyeliner that I've been absolutely loving this year has been the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeliner. I think it's a matte. It goes on liquidy and then dries matte, which I quite like. So I've just done this side. I thought I would give it a go and try and do this on camera. If it doesn't work, the next thing you're gonna see is me cut to the next thing that I like to use, because when I do this I like to hold my breath. So it's actually quite easy. Also this year, Pat McGrath's team was kind enough to send me a care package, and it had the Perma Gel Ultra Glide pencil in it, and it came in, they sent me the black one and the brown one. I can't remember what the black one's called, but the brown one is called Black Coffee. And this is the first year that I've actually really been into browns for eyeliners. Normally I like a deep black, but this is the first year that I can honestly say, can you still see? Yeah, I've quite enjoyed browns as eyeliners. There's something nice about them when you don't want to be too harsh. Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, there we go. So I'll have the list of prices and websites for these listed below, but yeah, definitely had to include that one. Okay, now I don't really wear mascara purely because I wear individual false lashes, so I don't really need it. But for my lower lashes, Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath's Dark Star mascara is everything. And I bought the mini size and the big size. Now the mini size is really good for actually doing the lower lash line. You can get closer without having to worry about making a mess in your lower lash line. So that's really good. I've applied some on this side. So I'm just going to go in and put a little bit on this side and hope I do not screw this up. And then what I would do at this juncture is, remember I said that I have another powder, but I don't use it for what its intended purpose. And it's the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfecting Under Eye Powder. This is amazing. It gives you flawlessness, like flawlessness. But I thought, why waste it on your under eyes? It makes an amazing finishing powder. Now normally I use shade medium. I'm just going to use shade 3, which is dark. And what I like to do is, when I finish my makeup, I take a bit, then I dust it underneath here, just to give like, so basically it's giving you a seamless finish. I'm not sure if you can see from this side. So this side is where the highlight is, and this side I'm just going to go over it, and it just makes everything kind of blend. It's like it gives it a soft focus. And looking from side to side, you can see everything's like blended to the gods. And I do the same thing with the other side. And I do this no matter what foundation I use, no matter what powders I use, I always go over this. And like little things like your blush, so that it doesn't have a start point and an end point, it kind of just begins and kind of just ends seamlessly. I like to just tuck it in there as well. So around there. And I will use this, which I'm going to call my lighter colour for now. Then you do your usual, you go against all the bits that you've highlighted very lightly, just dusting that along on the face. And then I take my Charlotte Tilbury powder. I tap my brush in it, dust it off, and I dust that absolutely everywhere. So if you've accidentally not blended something properly, or there's a harsh line somewhere, this will get rid of all of that for you. Everything looks blended. I always get comments that I look like a filter, and I'm like, yes I do. And this is the reason why. This is literally the sole reason why everything always looks blended to the god. Yes. Now I've messed up my steps a little bit. Normally I wouldn't have put mascara on before I use my finishing spray, but I got excited. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do my lip liner, and I'm using MAC Chestnut. What's it got to do? So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to let you know my favourite lippy of 2020 and my favourite setting spray. So I've just put the MAC liner all over my lips. The reason I do that is I just think you get better coverage. Yeah, it's just one of my techniques that I like to do. And then my favourite lipstick of 2020 actually came from Pat McGrath. I liked it before. I mean, I've only tried it in the miniature version before, but obviously Pat did a £12 for any lipstick at the moment. So I got the 1995 Mattrance. I love it. It's just a lovely colour. Look at it. Can you bring it a bit closer? It's just a lovely colour. It's like a nice nude. It's just a nice peachy nude. Really, really nice peachy nude. Oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, there we go. Nice peachy nude. Yeah, really nice colour. And what I like to, like I said, I like to line my whole lips with the Chestnut, then go over it. Over that. And then it's just... When you're done, just take your finger and pat over the top to get a seamless blend. There you go. She's gorgeous, right? And last but not least, my favourite setting spray, and you probably just caught a glimpse of it, of 2020 was Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is amazing. This is absolutely phenomenal. It's so good. It's empty. I've got a new one, don't worry, but it's actually so good that I've used two of these. I originally bought the small one because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I really do. Then I bought another small one because I wasn't sure if I'm going to like it. Now I'm going to buy a third, but I'm going to get that in full size because actually economically it makes more sense to just get the full size for how much you pay. So yeah, this is amazing. This, second to none. It's almost as good as the Huda Beauty one from last year. That one's got a strong fragrance, but it keeps your makeup in check. So that'll probably be my second favourite. Actually, no, that'll be my third. Another setting spray, because I can't use this one because it's finished. So another one that I'm going to say is probably my second favourite. And actually, I like to use it to make if I powder my face so that it kind of makes it settle. And then I would still go over this to use this to set it so that it doesn't move. Is a Morphe Luminous setting spray. This is good. This is so good. This is a really good setting spray, and it gives you that added, I've just tasted it. It gives you that added luminosity. Oh my god. But yeah, it gives you the added luminosity to your makeup, and then I'll push that in. So I've got the finishing powder going in, and everything just becomes seamless. Yeah. Excellent. You see what I meant before about using the finishing powder over the highlight? It just softens it, gives you like a nice glow as opposed to a sheen. But you got to put a little bit more than you normally would because it does dull it down. So yeah, those are my favourites of 2020. I know for a few categories I had more than one thing, but you know, sometimes it bees like that. I really enjoyed makeup this year. It gave me a really great outlet, especially in the early months of lockdown here in the UK. It just gave me something to do, something else to focus on. And I realised it was a time when I didn't think about anything. I'm a mum, I've got 3 kids, I'm also married. And I spend so much time thinking about my family and what's next and what's next and what needs doing. But for that 1 hour where I sit down and I play with makeup, I think of nothing. And in the best way. I think of nothing. It brings me peace. Yeah, there's other things in my life that bring me peace, but there's very few things in my life that I can do and just think of nothing else. And yeah, I know for everybody it's different, but for me, makeup has really been that thing for me. So yeah. Oh, and exercise. So makeup and exercise have definitely brought me inner peace, and it's one of the few things from lockdown and through this pandemic that I want to keep going no matter what, is not feeling guilty about having 2 minutes, an hour and a half to myself, because you need it. In order to be the best me, I need to be happy. In order to be the best mum, I need to be happy. I need to be centered. So yeah, I've really enjoyed makeup this year, and I've experimented, I've tried with color, and I really can't wait to do that a bit more in 2021. And obviously starting this channel, I've been wanting to do this for so long, but fear has held me back, but not anymore. You know, you can't be scared of things, because, you know, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, you know, there are people out here way more confident than me and who are doing their thing and who are excelling, and they probably started off not even as good as I am, sorry. But you know what? They believed in themselves and they believed in their source, and as a result, they're excelling. And you know what? Props to them. Absolute props. You got to believe your own source. So, and even if, you know what, it's just me talking to some people a few times a week about what I love, makeup, that's okay. I can live with that one, you know. So anyway, if you liked my content, please like, please subscribe. If you care to share, please share. And I will see you all of 2021.